Welcome to the Digital Amateur Television Experimenters Night. This is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania. Amateur radio is a worldwide hobby that has many different aspects. Digital television is just one of the many modes and areas that are covered. Maybe you're interested in becoming involved in the DATV Experimenters Nights. You realise that you do not have to be a radio amateur or need any ATV equipment to participate anywhere in the world. Also participate in the night by coming up to the Queen's Domain clubrooms. Yes, right on top of the Queen's Domain in the heritage-listed Coast Wireless Station. You never know, we might get you in front of the camera or behind doing one of the many roles during the night. We get underway with our program on a Wednesday night from 7:30pm local time. We'll see you soon. This is VK7 OTC.
Okay, this is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania with our DATV Experimenters Night. And I have Rex, VK7MO, in the studio. Hello, Rex.
Hi, Justin.
How are you going?
I'm good, yes.
Excellent, excellent. So, before we get to Rex, I wish to acknowledge Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the traditional Tasmanian owners of this land upon which we're presenting tonight, and pay my respects to elders past and present, for they hold the memories, the knowledge, the culture and hopes of Aboriginal Tasmania. Now, I've got Rex in the studio for GPS. Something about GPS. So tell us about it, Rex.
Well, I'm not sure how long ago, but you had organised a talk, a remote control talk on GPS by someone about 12 months ago in the VK2, was it?
Oh, Peter Picorni.
Right.
Yes, about GPS time.
Yeah, time.
About how we get the time, how we've got time in the way that we know it now. Yes.
Well,
VK2 EMR.
Yes, I asked him a question at that talk about why you potentially had to wait 13 minutes to get the correct time.
Okay.
And he didn't
quite.
He didn't have an explanation for that.
Okay, righto.
But I now do have an explanation.
Okay.
And I thought it would be useful to share.
Fantastic.
Now, a lot of us have been using these little GPS receivers that were sort of designed, I think, to go on the roofs of cars, magnetic things.
Now, let me go to document camera here.
And these are very good for if you're portable or going on a soda thing. And
I've got one of these on top of my car for my APRS.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
Now the problem with them is whether they measure the correct time depends on whether they have downloaded something called an Ephemeris.
Right. Okay.
Which tells you the difference between GPS time and UTC time.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Now, this device overcomes that problem.
Ooh, okay. What's this device?
Well, it's a slightly improved one, but it's got a little flash memory in it,
Ah.
and it remembers the difference between GPS time and UTC time until it changes.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, it's
So
got,
until the application changes it?
no,
Or-
until the ephemeris that's coming from the satellites
Yep.
changes the difference.
Yep.
And then it's good. After that, you can turn it on and off.
Right.
Because it's in flash memory.
Okay. Okay.
Now, it turns out that all these ones have the same U-Blocks device in it,
Yeah. Surprise. Surprise.
and they're all 2 seconds out.
Right.
And what I think happened
Okay.
is that U-Blocks must have made these. We'll go to the next slide.
Hang on. Let's go to now. Just let me get this right so that we get the audio right here.
The polls are spending 3.9.
So she's going 23, but I don't know why it wouldn't work
at the moment.
Yeah.
And
Polls
the
are
big
really
one
good.
is for a week or two, then she'll go back up again and help
You
out.
let 23 work.
But,
Yeah, so she wasn't
all
there.
these stages,
And I had,
and before I put in the box, I got on today.
Ah, that's better. Sorry. Okay. Now we're right now, Rex. We're right. I have to get the right one so that the audio's right.
This has been the correction that's been added to GPS time to get UTC time since GPS started in 1980.
Okay. Okay.
And then...
So these are all the corrections.
Yes, so they tend to do the corrections either on the 31st of December or the 30th of...
And I've captured a couple of them
You
on my
have,
YouTube
yes.
channel. On my
And they've gradually been adding a second.
correct.
And it's now 18 seconds difference.
Hmm.
Now, the interesting thing is it hasn't changed from 18 seconds since 2016.
And in fact, I think that might be one of the ones, or it was the one before, either or, that I captured.
Right.
Yeah, I think it actually, I think it might be the last two that they did.
So, my suspicion is that these devices were built by U-Blocks sometime after they were 2 seconds out, so they must have been
2012.
About 2012,
Yep.
and
They haven't caught up the last two.
they hadn't caught up the last two, but U-Blocks have been just sending
No,
these.
no. What I suspect has been happening is our friends in China have been copying the U-Blocks devices
Not
without taking into account the update. I suspect. I don't know. I don't know that, but
yes.
yeah. Okay. Ooh, well, that's interesting.
Yes. So now we just go down
Yep,
to the
down.
So this is this device.
Okay. Yes.
And they're only $15.
Oh no, they're ridiculously cheap.
Yes. This one was $23 Australian, but
Okay.
they're not much. And then this is a newer device, which is not much more expensive, $40 Australian,
Okay.
which is this one.
Okay. No. Well.
Still made in China, and the advantage of this one is it not only downloads the offset,
Yes.
but it then stores the offset until you download another ephemeris with a different offset, and then it
Right.
stores the new offset. And the advantage of this is essentially you've got accurate GPS time from the moment that you actually get a fix on the satellite.
Correct. And can I just say, these things seem to get an incredibly quick fix.
Yes.
I don't know how many receivers these these? Well, you'd be able to look it up if it's a U-Blocks device. But how many receivers they've got in these devices? But it just seems to be able to get locked just like that.
Yes.
As soon as your power's on, a couple of seconds later, if you haven't moved significantly, it's phenomenal. But anyway, well, there you go. So what you're recommending is to spend slightly a bit more money and getting the device that actually takes it into account.
That's right.
Yes. Okay.
Now, admittedly, at some stage, you're going to have to. You potentially, when you first set it on, you might have to wait 13 minutes to get it, the Ephemeris, but as they're not changing the offset very much at the moment.
Well, they haven't changed it for a long while.
A long while. Essentially,
in fact, I think Peter made comment about that.
They weren't going to change.
They weren't going to. There was a global decision that they weren't going to change it again, or.
Well, I looked it up, and it said they'd agreed that they'd rethink it in 2035.
Right. Okay.
Now, for most applications, 2 seconds out, which, I mean, basically these were designed to provide position and rough time on a motor vehicle.
Well and truly.
But 2 seconds out on WSJT
is an issue.
It means, particularly on Q65, it's all, on the older modes, Joe...
Not an issue.
It wasn't an issue, but when Joe went to Q65, he was trying to get as much transmit time as possible to get the sensitivity, and 1 second out means it doesn't work.
Ooh, okay.
Well, more than 1 second.
Right, okay. I didn't realise that.
Yes. So, now, the reality is, in this day and age of SDRs, you still get an error because of the delay in the SDR processing.
The decoding delay, well and truly.
But that's not much in a good SDR. With the 9700, it's about 0.2 of a second.
Okay.
So it's still well within the limits.
But what you're saying is this won't work with that mode, the older.
Well, it won't work for 13 minutes until it gets the Ephemeris.
There you go.
If you go somewhere and you just start up,
you're potentially waiting 13
minutes before you can have a digital QSO.
No, okay.
Well, the sort of things that annoy me is my friend Brody will ring me up and say, "Is an aeroplane? Can we try?" And I've got to wait 13 minutes to be sure I've got my timing right. Whereas this overcomes the problem.
Yeah.
Now, next slide. You do have to use a program to convert what the output of these things into something that locks your computer.
Okay.
The one I use is called NMEA Time 2.
Yep. Yeah.
Which a ham in California produced.
Actually a long while ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember Larry and I had a fair bit of to and fro with him and helped him get it so it was working. And you do have to pay for that.
Yes.
About $22 US, I think.
Yep.
But there are free versions. I haven't used them, but I know a lot of hams now use BKT Time Sync.
Oh, okay.
Which is also written by a ham.
Yep.
And he doesn't charge.
Okay.
So I think if
That's
I was
interesting. He also does it via Bluetooth. So there's another delay in there. That you need to be careful with that.
How long's the delay in Bluetooth?
Well, it's got to go into the Bluetooth system and back out again. So you'd have a little bit of delay as well. I don't know how much.
0.1 of a second or something.
Yeah, it's probably in that sort of order.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure. The advantage with Bluetooth, of course, is you can have a battery device and just have it sitting there and not have to worry about cords and all sorts of stuff. So
yes,
that's the big advantage of it.
So
okay. I used a different one again, but anyway.
It's not on the list.
It's not on the list, but anyway, it's a paid one. And it's a one specifically written for Windows, so yeah. But anyway,
I think these are all work on Windows.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think if you were starting out, probably you'd try this one.
Yep. I'll put a link in the video to that one,
and a link to this.
Great. I'll certainly do that. And I'll go on to eBay tonight. That is fantastic, Rex, and a good follow up to Peter's talk for us. That I have to admit, the reason I got Peter in was his talk at Gibbs Tech, and that was the Gibbs Tech when we had probably the most number of VK7s go to Gibbs Tech,
right.
which was the last one, unfortunately.
Yes.
It was the last one. But Peter gave this talk, and I think everyone thought, oh my goodness, this is we're all going to go to sleep in this talk. And I think it was the most humorous talk that we had in the Gibbs Tech, because it was a classic example of bureaucracy taking over standard setting, and it was a global. It's a global collaboration.
Yeah.
And what could possibly go wrong? It was very funny. So anyway, that is fantastic, Rex. Thank you for that.
All right.
And I'll put the links on the in the video description, so we can all take the recommendation. So
okay.
Thank you, Rex.
No
Thank you very
worries.
much. That is fantastic. All right, this is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our DATV Experimenters Nights. And now hello to our online viewers. Now let me go up. There's a whole lot of people now. Andy in the UK, hello. John Hall. Now congratulations to John. John got his foundation license on the weekend, so congratulations. We've got Darren, Bronson, we've got Colin, Stephen, VK3 TTF. So our DATV person, so hello Stephen, is tuning in. We've got David Goodrick up in South Hobart. We've got Matt, MAT. We've got Ron. We've got Ken in New Zealand. Is that a way to tell which units have the memory? I'll put the link. So Darren, I'll put the link to the one that Rex is talking about. Hang on. Let me go over here instead of we've got a Doctor Who effect going on there. I'll put the link to that particular unit in the video description. So to identify USB GPS units that are just for leap seconds, check the documentation for compliance with the GPS interface specification, ISGPS 200H or later. Thank you, Colin. That is fantastic. And Warren, also VK7 Whiskey November. Now for something completely different. So I came across an article which I will put the link in the video description so people can have a look at it themselves. There was a fairly significant study done by Chinese researchers who released their findings in one of the journals, and I'll put the link in there. It was a study done of about 500,000, so 500,000 people, and they had long term, and I mean long term from the point of view of greater than 11 years. So we're talking about sunspot cycles here, greater than 11-year records of about 500,000 people with their blood pressure measurements. And it was collected across, 6 years in a couple of provinces in China. And researchers compared blood pressure fluctuations with the AP index, which is a global measure of geomagnetic disturbance, and tried to find whether there was any correlation. And what they found was that blood pressure and geomagnetic activity showed both annual bimodal patterns and multiple periodicities, so 12 months, 6 months, and intermittent 3-month cycles. And importantly, these periodicities were not observed in other environmental factors known to affect blood pressure. So I absolutely fascinated by these sort of studies, and given that the sample size was enormous, and they had blood pressure records over 6 years, and they were able to show these correlations. Now there's significant. I'm not going to go into this in huge amount of detail, but you can see here, this is taken from the paper. This is their correlation methodology, and quite sound and statistical. They did a whole lot of multi-factor comparisons, and you can see here that you can see these fluctuations, and then they dig into in a lot more detail. These are the fluctuations of both the AP index, so this is the geomagnetical activity, versus the systolic blood pressure reading and the diastolic. So when the heart pumps, there is a diastolic and a systolic. That's the upper and lower blood pressure readings that they take. And you can see that the correlation where you have a peak in geomagnetic activity, and you also have the same sort of peaks for both the diastolic and systolic readings across a significant period of time. So and same in the males and females, they've split it up in here. The same variations and the same correlations. So now, I came across a term that I'd never seen before, which was heliobiology. And I went, helio, well, that's the sun, and biology is biology. So the results suggest that the geomagnetic activity is statistically linked to blood pressure functions, raising potential concerns for individuals with hypertension during periods of elevated geomagnetic disturbance. So when we have a CME or an equivalent, a similar event, those people with blood pressure issues probably need to be aware that there is geomagnetic activity going on, significant geomagnetic activity. So anyway, that's they go on to make the only sort of recommendation they make is that there needs to be broader healthcare policies that take on environmental factors like geomagnetic activity. But absolutely fascinating study, and I'll put the link in the notes, in the video notes. It's just phenomenal. But anyway, so now I said we were going to have the latest copy of the Old Timers News. So those people who don't know, this is the journal of the Radio Amateurs Old Timers Club of Australia. So this is an Australian club, has many hundreds of members, and this is the latest news. Fantastically well put together magazine. You can see on the front there is an article in here about the conversion of some of the old coal-fired power stations in Victoria to a large battery they're talking about in Victoria that has a solar array associated with it, and that charge up the batteries, and the batteries then form the storage for the and the stability forming factors in the grid. But that's not the articles that I'm wanting to point out here. But there are two articles which are very Tasmanian centric. The very first one is by Tim Robinson, who is the editor of this august volume. He wrote a article about record long distance shortwave communications, and he talks about the Commonwealth line of the Jervis Bay in 1926, and goes on to show the sort of equipment they were using. And then the next article is all about, and it's a linkage to that previous article, first wireless in Tasmania. So this article is about the Ophir and the St George were the two naval vessels that accompanied the Duchess and Duke of York, who came to Australia to open the first federal parliament in the exhibition buildings in Melbourne. If you know those buildings, they still exist. And they came and opened the first parliament, and they were accompanied on the Royal Yacht by two naval vessels, one of which, the Ophir, was installed, had Spark Wireless installed on the Ophir. And this goes on to the next article in the magazine, which is all about Pop Medhurst. Now, Frederick Medhurst, VK7AH, or he had a number of call signs, all the way back to when, this is the early 1900s, when the St George and the Ophir made its way to Australia, and then did a tour of duty around all the Australian states. And when they came to Tasmania, Frederick Medhurst, or Pop Medhurst, was one of the first to contact the Ophir with its wireless Spark Wireless set, and make a contact with them as they steamed. Sorry, it was a steam vessel, not a sail vessel. Steamed up the Derwent, along with the official post office. The official post office Spark transmitter. But anyway, and this article about Pop Medhurst was written by myself for the centenary. So this was the centenary of amateur radio in Tasmania, which we held back in 2023. So this anyway, they reprinted the article, which is fantastic, all about Pop Medhurst. Now, I'll just point out, this is Pop Medhurst here, and he is in his WIA Blazer. And I think we should bring back the WIA Blazer, really. I think that's absolutely fascinating. But this is Pop sitting there in 1932 at a field day. So there was a Tasmanian Division, WIA Tasmanian Division field day. Here he is over here at a 1929 field day, operating some Spark transmission, or listening on a crystal set. So anyway, they're the couple of articles that I wanted to point out in the Old Timers News. So if you have held your license for over 25 years, you can become a full member of the Radio Amateurs Old Timers Club. Or if you're under 25 years, you can become an associate member. And so yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. So we might actually feature some other articles out of this, because it's there's some really interesting information in these magazines. And also, I'll do a spruik for the first Monday night of the month is the Radio Amateur Old Timers Club transmission, the OTN transmission, and they put out about an hour-long program, which are of historical stories that they put into a very well produced hour-long program. So worth a listen, and we broadcasted over all of the repeater network in Tasmania. So first Monday night in the month, starts at 8 o'clock at night on the repeater network, and also All-Star, etc., etc. So if you have an All-Star node, you can dial in and have a listen. Now I've got some show and tell, which is really heavy. So just bear with me. Oh. So, what do I have in front of me? Well, let me go to. I just want to show this first. So let me get this right. Content.
I don't go and make kids very often. But when I do, I go and stir them up.
And make use of
They
that.
just can't figure it out. Figured it out. With this turkey as it
And then I was just about to turn off. I thought I'll just have a scan up the bands.
Okay, come on. Content Studio, that's better. Okay, apologies about that. I really should mark them a bit easier. Anyway, now what was the heavy piece of equipment that I put onto the desk? This is a Ringer Dynomotor. Now you can see the label there. It's the ringing dynamotor. You put 48 volts in one side of the dynamotor, and it runs at 1,000 RPM. So it is a motor. It's a converter. So 48 volts in one side, DC, and you get 75 volts AC out the other side of the dynamotor at 16 2/3 cycles. So there you go. Now, at the end of it, there are a whole lot of cogs and bits and pieces, which I'll show you in a minute, and you get a whole lot of tones. So you get a whole lot of bass tones at 16.23 cycles. That's the 75 volts. And then that is switched. So that 16 2/3 cycles is switched so that you get a busy tone at 400 cycles per second. You get a dial tone at 33 1/3 cycles per second. And anyone who's done any vinyl records will recognise the 33 1/3 cycles per second, or revolutions. The NU, or the no line tone, is 400 cycles per second, and the ringing tone that you get out of this is 400 cycles and 16 2/3 cycles per second, alternating. So, how does it do that? So this is the unit. I'm not going to pick it up because it's B heavy. But this is a electromechanical exchange. So what period are we talking? We're talking 1950s, 60s, and almost into the 70s. This was the device that gave you the ringing tone, the dial tone, the engaged tone, and the no line tone. This was the device that actually gave it to you in each exchange. Now, can I just say, this is a small one. This is for a regional exchange. This is actually from the Signet exchange when they pulled all this equipment out, and it is going into a Demonstrator exchange that we are building. Demonstrator electromechanical exchange that we're building. Now, Dennis Bowden, who was in here for the telegraphy section, is assisting us. But I just wanted to show you this. This is, and I'll go to the document camera. So, the dynamotor in here creates the 16 2/3 cycles per second, which is the dial tone that you hear. We then have a gearing arrangement in here So it comes off the main shaft. There's a gear. There'll be some worm gears in here. And it turns this shaft here. And it turns these shafts. And you can see on here there are little bumps and troughs at different frequencies. You can see this one, there's only one here. In here there's a long break and a long trough, and then a long peak. Here there is a short peak and a short trough and a short peak, etc. And then here there's another one altogether with a peak on either side at 180 degrees. So each of these are going through into, and you can see there are a whole lot of terminals here which get opened and closed at the frequency that we're talking about here. And so this is where you pull off your ringing, your engaged, your no line, and your dial tone. So this is how you electromechanically generate all of your tones involved with a telephone system. And it was all done with a dynomotor. There were two of these in each exchange. There was one and a backup, and they would run alternately so that they would get equal operation. And if they had to change from one to the other, it was done automatically, and all sorts of things. It could be done. But this absolutely fascinating piece of gear. And if you have ever happened to have put your hand across the telephone line when it rings, the reason that you get a bit of a jolt off the telephone line is this is the thing that's generating 75 volts AC at 16 2/3 cycles per second. It's this thing that gave you the bit of a jolt, and that's why it was generating the 75 volts AC. So anyway, this is being deployed into a demonstrator exchange that we're putting together with 4 lines and a whole lot of uni-selectors. And so when we have it at things like the Festival of Bright Ideas or at one of our open days, kids or people will be able to dial, and we'll have 4 dial phones. We've got 4 dial phones. We can dial from one to the other, and you'll be able to see not only how the ring is generated with the ringer here, but the uni-selectors will show you and clunk away and connect one phone to another. The phone will ring, you'll pick it up, you'll be able to talk to your mate, and then you'll be able to ring back and do all sorts of things. So anyway, that's the demonstrator exchange, and this is the ringer unit that we're actually going to be using. And this absolutely screams, because it's 1000 RPM, absolutely screams. So so there you go. And can I just say, it weighs a ton. So anyway, that's the that's what's on the cards right at the moment. It is I'm doing the circuit diagram for it right at the moment. So there are, if we have a look, the club room's content.
Your signal to noise ratio, and there's everybody else. So you don't worry about absolute numbers, but it's more about how you're doing against other
All
people.
having their lovely
And so
photo together.
if somebody else is always consistently better,
I see the
than you,
Australian
you're losing
ambassador
massively.
doing it.
Content club rooms, content studio. Is that better? That's better. I really do need to get that right. But there's the ringer, and it's got a 1980s date on it. We've got some other equipment here that now we talk about the uni-selectors. This is a Strowger uni-selector. So that shaft that you see in the middle can go up and down, so can go left and right, as well as turn 180 degrees. So that's a uni-selector. A bit of test equipment. You can see we've got a whole lot of uni-selector racks and bits and pieces out of the Signet Exchange. We've got an attenuator, a calibrated attenuator, so that's all for 600 ohms. the ringer, which we had. We've got uni-selectors that click into those contact panels that we saw earlier. Oh, now for those who realised what our picture was for our invite to the stream, these are subscriber counters. This is 100 subscriber counters. They used to count off each call that you made, and someone would come along and read that number, and then you'd get charged for the number of calls that you made. And then that's a later model. This is an earlier model. So this model is each one of those is a separate little counter. That weighs a ton. I struggle by myself to lift that, but that's a great big panel of subscriber counters. And then this is the relay box from a crossbar exchange. So we went from uni-selectors to a crossbar exchange, and this is the relay box that goes with the crossbar exchange. So a different way of doing the matrix switching. So there you go. Oh, and there's a wonderful little label on the ringer unit about you need to use whilst running with Shell Barbatia grease number 2. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's go back to, we've probably got some crazy comments on the chat channel. Anyone who out of a plane radio? No. It's a ringer unit or not. That is the thing. If those people who can remember your dial phones, where you could dial your phone and pick it up, you pick up the receiver, you'd hear a dial tone. Well, that dial tone was electromechanically generated by that sort of ringer unit. So that's how it used to work. So it's absolutely amazing. And then, of course, we went to crossbar exchanges, and then we went to electronic exchanges, and all of that was electronically generated. And I in the 1980s up to the 1990s, I worked in a theatre in Adelaide, the Adelaide Repertory Theatre, and they needed a ringer unit, and so I built one. I built a ringer unit with some 555s, 555 timer circuits, and some relays. And a little 48 volt supply, so you could plug a normal telephone into this supply, and there was a little switch that gave you a English ringtone or an American ringtone, depending on the play that we were running. Because if it was an American play, it has a different ringtone, and so they could operate the ringtone. I'll bring that in. I'll bring it in and show it, because it's a bit of history. So you can do it electronically, or you can do it electromechanically with a ringer dynomotor. So there you go. Now, I've just got a bit of a random topic here. What goes wrong with capacitors? Now, the interesting thing, actually, before we get underway, before we do that, I'm going to change the script here, which is probably going to go horribly wrong for me. But anyway, one of the things that we've had some requests for is a bit of a tour of our new studio. So what I can do here, what I will try and do here, this is interesting. Okay, this will go interesting. This will go interesting. So, our new studio. Where I'm standing and where I'm sitting here at the desk, we have a little 19-inch rack. It's got a few little bits and pieces in it, and mainly to do with USB. The main way that we get the signal is via a application called OBS. Now, OBS, and hang on, I can do this. This is where we'll go. Now, OBS is Open Broadcast Studio. This is a wonderful open source piece of software that is used by the gamers. So those gamers who are, wait until that, is that going to have, no, it's just focused. So we have Open Broadcast Studio. Now, this is what a lot of streamers and gamers all use. You can see here, this is what I've set up. This is the setup screen. So this is what I'm going to go to. And if I go to Studio Front, hang on. If I go to, here we go, the club rooms. This is one of the club rooms cameras. So you can see all the people out there in the club rooms. So this is the setup screen. This is in studio view. Setup screen, and then I've got what is going to air. So this is currently going out on our stream. And if I was to change this, I go to
respond to you super slowly.
Supposedly,
I think
a lot of
it's
the ones you use to like
I think it's easier
ex-criminals
to
and all that, put in, well, you understand,
than
get out.
Now, I won't go too far into that because that's gone to the club rooms camera, the club rooms microphone as well. But you can see when I transition, it goes from there to there. Now, I've got a little stream deck. So let's go back to the studio front, and I'll go back here. Let's go back to where it was. Okay, so I've got a little stream deck here. Now, all a stream deck is effectively a keyboard emulator. I've got all of the functions that I have in OBS in on the stream deck. So I can go from one thing to another. You can see here, I can go to the document camera and transition. I can go to the club rooms, back to the studio because that's the club rooms club rooms microphone. I can go to the intro video. Can go all over the place, and so effectively all that's doing is speeding up my my ability to do things on OBS without having to look over here at the OBS screens. Now, what I'm looking at, I'm actually looking at a screen. Now, if we go to the document camera, there. Now, apologies for this being upside down. The document camera I'm using so that I can show you. But I'm looking at a multi-view screen. There's the multi-view screen. There is the camera, the high definition Logitech camera, PTZ camera that is there, and I can control that using a remote control. So that's what I'm looking at. You'll notice that if I go back here, you'll notice that one of those boxes is red. That one there is red, and that's the one that's going to air. This green one up here is the green box is what I'm about to go to. So if I transition to it, that box now is red because that's what I'm going out on the stream, and the green box is the one that I've got queued up and ready to go. So now the other things that are available in the studio is we have the laptop. We've got a laptop here, which is how I'm looking at your no, I can't do that. I won't try and do that. I've got that looking at your chat screen. And now what else? And we've got the 4 seats. This is a relatively soundproof room. We need to close the door because there's usually a lot of noise out there, but this is a reasonably soundproof room. And the laptop. Now, the laptop goes through a little thing that we call a barcode, which plugs into the USB socket on the notebook. There's a tiny little bit of software that goes on here, and that barcode then becomes a device in OBS, and I can go to Content Studio Share, and that is the laptop screen that you're seeing on the output of the OBS, which is being streamed out, and this will progressively do the Doctor Who effect of disappearing into its own black hole. There's a feedback loop that gets initiated there because there is a streaming delay, and so that's what creates the smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller screens. So absolutely fantastic. Now, hang on, I've got some comments. Fancy when I was a kid, the first had a party line. The phone number was 43U before a dial phone with 6 numbers. Oh my God. Okay, well that's fantastic. Thank you, Colin. And Matt, I thought that those remotes in front of you looked like your burner phones. Well, they could be my burner phones, but who knows. No, they are Logitech. They're Logitech remotes. And the really nice thing is, I've got the Logitech remotes in here, and I can control all the cameras in the club rooms as well. And so when we have a presentation night, I take those remotes out with me, and I can control the cameras in there. We also have a club rooms tracking camera up on the wall that enables us, when we have those presentation and those forum nights, the tracking camera, what it does is it homes in on the loudest source, and so it finds the loudest source, and actually it has a wide angle lens, and it has a focus, a zoomed in lens, and it uses the wide angle and some sort of device to find where that sound's coming from, and then it uses the other camera to zoom in on that particular subject, and then it changes seamlessly to the other camera, and so that's a Polycom tracking camera that it makes forum nights and presentation nights really, really easy, because we just let it do the brains of the operation, and we don't need somebody switching cameras and doing all sorts of things at the during the night. So anyway, that's if you've got any questions, drop them in the chat, and if you want me to zoom in on something, I'll try and zoom in on it. What we're trying to do is we'll have a image on this wall, a suitable Hobart image on this wall in the not too distant future, which will make it a very Tasmanian experience. So that's a tour of the studio. And if you do want to see anything, let me know, and I'll see whether I can zoom in on it with a camera. Anyway, what I might do is just do now. We have had space weather report. The space weather report, there has been a little bit of activity, not much, but there has been a little bit of activity just recently, and quite a few people saw auroras last night. I noticed some pics starting to come up on people's feeds, so there was a little bit of aurora activity, and I have the application up on my screen in my shack, and it was telling me that there was going to be the significant chance of us seeing auroras in Tasmania. So if you did have a camera and you were out, and the weather wasn't pouring with rain, which it did last night, so in between the rain showers, you might have got some pretty specky photos. Now, Colin, do you have a camera in the old OTC radio room? Well, the old OTC radio room is where we're sitting, Colin. So the camera is well and truly in here. If you're talking about Tas Maritime Radio in the new facility next door, no, we don't. That's a separate organisation. So yeah, but no, sorry, but where we're actually sitting is the old operating room. And Eric, Eric, so W8WB, I'm off to work. Everyone have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening. So thank you, Eric. That's fantastic, and I hope you enjoyed the show. So space weather, yes, we have a few things going on. Now we had foundation course, training and assessment course on Saturday. We had 5 people go through. All 5 were successful, including John Hall, who is on the stream. So please congratulate John. And we had a few come in tonight who are successful foundation candidates. So there are 5 new foundation call signs out there. So congratulations to everyone who passed. I did speak to one of them on the radio tonight as I was driving here, so that's excellent, always excellent. Now, our next course is the Standard Advanced and Regulations Assessment Day, which is on the 20th of September. Then we have our last Foundation Training and Assessment Day for 2025, which is on the 25th of October. So if you're interested in either of those, please send an email to reast.assessor@gmail.com and we'll follow up. Now, next week, so September the 10th, is a forum night. It is how to get the most from your nano VNA. So everybody's got a nano VNA in their shack. I would love to say that everybody knows how to use them perfectly for every application that's available to them, but even I think I'd probably be fibbing if I thought that. So we're organised a forum night so people can come along and show us how they're using their nano VNAs. We'll have a few little sessions. Which will be how to sweep an antenna, how to sweep a filter, all of that sort of stuff. But there are some other novel ways that people are using their nano VNAs around the place. So please come along or contribute to the chat. We will have it streamed out. Then September the 17th is another one of these nights, Wednesday Experimenters Group Night. And then the 24th, September the 24th, is our presentation night for September. And it is being given by Phil Waite, VK2 ASD. And Phil is taking us through how to use the RSGB Electromagnetic Radiation Calculator. So this is the calculator that the RSGB has granted use to the WIA to use, and we'll be taking you through how to use it. There's a whole library of common antennas and common arrangements, and so take you through a few of those more common examples that you would probably have in your backyard, and it tells you for the power that you're running, exclusion zones and all sorts of stuff. So really handy, and it's free to use. So this will tell you how to use it, and then you can back up if the ACMA wants to know whether you've assessed your electromagnetic radiation risk. Then you can put your hand on your heart and say, yes, I have, and here are the calculations that the calculator gave me. So that's the 24th of September. All right, that's your blooming lot for this week. Oh, excellent. Good. Excellent. John's getting some love there, so that's fantastic. All right, that's your blooming lot for this week. So thank you very much. This has been VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our DATV Experimenters Night, and we'll catch you at the forum night next week. Cheers.